All right, so I got another good union on strike video here for you guys as workers in Portland, Oregon and around the United States working for Nabisco, who produces products like Oreos and Chips Ahoy, are going on strike to demand better pay and better benefits, especially during the COVID-19 pandemic, and as well protest some of the outsourcing of their jobs to Mexican factories, where workers are subjugated to even lower pay and worse benefits as this process of global capitalism continues with the exporting of exploitation from domestically here in the United States to countries that will allow for even worse labor standards. And so here starting off, I got a tweet here from Danny DeVito, who's one of my favorite actors. I loved him in It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, one of my best shows, one of my favorite shows, highly recommend it. But Danny DeVito says, support Nabisco workers striking for humane working conditions, hours, fair pay, and outsourcing jobs. No contracts, no snacks. So Danny DeVito is absolutely right. And here, if you can see below, there's another video from More Perfect Union, who have again been doing fantastic work on all of these different union strikes. So I'm going to link this video down below if you want to go watch a summary of that. But I'm actually going to read from this article here in Jacobin, which I also think does a really good job. So let's go ahead and hear about some of the reasons why these people are on strike right now. So Nabisco workers are on strike in 3 different states a month after that Frito-Lay factory, which I also made in a different video that I'll link in the description, discussing this other strike that they're talking about here. So a month after Frito-Lay workers walked off the job, workers who made Nabisco products like Oreos and Triscuits are on strike in Colorado, Oregon, and Virginia. They say management is trying to make already bone-grinding schedules even more intolerable. So here are some of the details. Workers at a Nabisco factory in Portland, Oregon went on strike on August 10th. They have been working 12 to 16-hour shifts, with some working 7 days a week, and the workers say the company is pushing for an alternative work week, a concession that would take away overtime pay for Saturdays and Sundays, with time paid at regular rates until a worker hits 40 hours regardless of the shift's length or of the day of the week. And one worker told the Huffington Post that the challenges could amount to a loss of $10,000 a year for some workers. Absolutely insane. Nabisco is also pushing for a 2-tiered healthcare plan, which would slot newer workers into a higher cost deal while also serving to divide workers within the union. So again, classic tactics for management trying to divide workers and pit them against each other by providing different healthcare plans, some of which are better than newer workers would have. And so this is complete bullshit. Obviously, we know on this channel, at least, I often talk about the conflict of interest that exists within our healthcare system and our employment system. There's no reason why healthcare should be tied to employment in any way, shape, or form. Yet another reason why we should be advocating constantly for a single-payer system like Medicare for All, where you could have your healthcare guaranteed, independent of what your employment status is, or independent of the types of healthcare negotiations that go on with these union contracts. During the Democratic primary, if you remember, one of the main arguments that they were making against Bernie Sanders and Medicare for All was, oh, well, you're going to take away all of these hard-earned healthcare negotiated plans that all of these different workers around the country have negotiated with their companies. Well, guess what? If you were to go and offer these Nabisco workers or workers across any countries around the United States, if you were to go and offer them, hey, would you rather have this shitty healthcare plan that management forced upon you, or would you rather have free at the point of service healthcare that is paid for through taxes from billionaires and corporations? Which one would you rather have? A free at the point of service one, or one that's still expensive, still screws you over on premiums, copays, and deductibles, while simultaneously forcing you to maintain these ridiculous negotiations within the company? I'm pretty sure that they would choose the Medicare for All single payer system that's cheaper, more efficient, and they don't have to tie it to their employment status. So again, yet another reason why we need Medicare for All urgently. But they continue, while Nabisco, which is owned by parent company Mondelez International, the company was spun off of Kraft Foods in 2012, saw profits nearly double in the last quarter of 2021. Its workers have seen none of that money, all the while working through the pandemic. And as the Northwest Labor Press noted, Nabisco CEO Dirk Van de Put received $18 million in compensation in 2020, 561 times that of the company's median worker. And they continue, the Portland workers are members of the Local 364 of the Bakery, Confectionery, and Tobacco Workers and Grain Millers International Union, the BCTGM, a very long union name, the same union that represents the Frito-Lay workers that we were just talking about in Topeka, Kansas. And in the days since the roughly 200 workers in Portland began their strike, other Nabisco bakery and production workers have followed them out the door. The strike has spread to Aurora, Colorado, and Richmond, Virginia. Nathan Williams, an oiler at the Richmond plant who has worked there for 30 years, told Vice that during the pandemic, quote, some people worked every day, 16 hours a day, for 3 months. So this is pretty much similar to what we saw in that Topeka, Kansas factory. And listen, they negotiated a contract and they left the strike. And honestly, I don't really think the contract that they ended up settling for was great. They just got very minor concessions from the company. So hopefully, this union can negotiate something better than what the people in Topeka, Kansas at the Frito-Lay facility were able to get in that moment. But these are the same conditions that we have been hearing about all across the country during the pandemic, is workers being screwed over, subjugated to more dangerous conditions throughout the duration of the pandemic, and not only given no bonus pay for subjecting themselves to that danger for the company and for the profits of the company, but even as we see record profits from a lot of these corporations, they're not even getting bonuses for working during the pandemic. So it's despicable and disgusting, but this is what they're doing. And so they continued. The workers are covered by a pattern agreement, meaning that they have identical contracts, all of which expired earlier this summer. And in a statement on the spreading strikes, Mondelez International said that it is, quote, disappointed by the workers' decision to strike, adding that our goal has been and continues to be to bargain in good faith. You're fucking lying, okay? This company does not give a single shit about these workers in any way, shape, or form. And you see this by the fact that they are trying to currently basically export these jobs overseas to go exploit labor in Mexico. And so Nabisco continues to close operations in the United States by building up plants in Mexico. And in 2015, the company told workers at its Chicago factory to accept a 60% pay cut and benefits that, or it would lay them off and focus on a newly established operation in Salinas, Mexico. And the workers refused the obscene concession. And despite receiving rhetorical support from both Donald Trump and Hillary Clinton in 2016 on the campaign trail in New Hampshire, Trump said, quote, I'm not eating Oreos anymore. They still failed to force Nabisco to reverse its decision, and some 600 workers lost their jobs. So again, we have a situation that is typical within the makeup of our global capitalist economic system. The United States government allows these corporations to continue exporting American, good-paying American jobs that are supposed to be kept here domestically, and they're allowing them to be shipped off to Mexico and shipped off to China and shipped off to all of these different countries around the world that have even shittier labor practices than the United States. And all of these workers are being screwed over because of this. They are either forced to accept ridiculous negotiated contracts where they have to accept pay cuts, they have to accept cuts to their benefits, etc. All at the expense of basically being put in this position where, well, you can accept the shittier pay and the shittier benefits, or we're going to take your job and we're going to ship it overseas. So you know what I would like to see if I was a president of the United States and I had this power? I would like to see something like a program that not only de-incentivizes a lot of these corporations from moving overseas, but says to them, if you are going to move your corporation overseas in this way, not only are we going to not allow you to do that, but we are going to offer up the company, the ownership of the company and all of its factories and the production that exists here in the United States. We are going to take that, seize that from the corporate boards of executives and all of the people who are making these decisions to ship the jobs overseas. And we're going to say, if you don't want to keep your American jobs here, then guess what? We're going to seize that company and we're going to give it straight to the control of the workers to control in a democratic fashion. And that would be much better in terms of securing those jobs here to stay in the United States, and as well protecting these American workers from their jobs being shipped overseas to do nothing but benefit this company that is shipping them overseas to profit off of exploited labor in other countries. So that's the type of program that I would like to see here in the United States. Encourage worker co-ops, subsidize worker co-ops, and de-incentivize this globalization process that is fucking over American workers at every step of the process. So listen, do what these employees are asking you to do and boycott if you can a lot of these products. Again, it's all Nabisco products, so basically the big ones like Oreo, Triscuits, as they said, a lot of these other ones like Chips Ahoy was another one that they said. So go and look up the product list if you want to participate in this, boycott them, and support this union strike in whatever way, shape, or form that you actually can. Again, unions, the only reason that they are able to even begin this process of negotiation is because we have unions in place in the first place. So, join your local union at your workplace if you want to, talk to your coworkers about it, and yeah, support this union strike in whatever way, shape, or form. Take Danny DeVito's word and go and support them.